Well, first, just let me say it's great to have you back, Bill, because we really enjoyed the conversation last
It was
week.
a lot of fun.
It
Thank
was a
you.
lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I had you on here because I wanted to talk about the accomplishments rather that you made from 70 to 80, and then winning the bodybuilding competition, and what you're doing right now with your online fitness videos and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and really affecting and impacting the community. But you covered so many topics, right?
Yeah.
That I go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, last year my son and I were in Atlanta, and I said, I was a stockbroker there. And I
Right.
also had a radio program. It's called This is Bill. And I gave a stock market wrap up as This is Bill Keller with a WLTA stock market commentary. And I were going to rattle on about 5 minutes about what happened during the day. He said, "You did what?" You didn't tell me that. I said, I just, it was only about a year. And
Wow.
it was just one of those things you do,
Yeah.
you know?
So I thought it was amazing because you covered so many topics that you lived in your life, like Air Force to Wall Street and diving and a whole bunch of things. And I was like, I want to go back and talk about some of these topics. And I was like, how you feel about that? And you said, yeah, and I was like, look, people loved actually what you had to say last week.
Cool.
And I thought that would be good opportunity. Let's talk about Bill a little more.
Okay. Okay.
The
I'm
enigma
game.
that is Bill.
I'm a bit of an extra, now I'll talk about myself.
Yeah.
I love it.
So if we could walk back through that timeline a little bit, because it goes from ministry or like the outer edges of
Yeah,
being
the outer edges.
sort
yeah.
of educated on it, to diving, to the Air Force, to Wall Street.
And I wasn't even confused.
Yeah, and it wasn't even confused.
I was just young and.
It sounds like a path somebody would be confused on, right? That's so many things. Which is not what one would consider. Words are hard. Would consider a normal path, right? So
Right.
let's start at the beginning before all that. Let's start with the ministry roots. You said you went to college in, what was it, South Carolina?
In South Carolina, yeah, North Greenville College in Tigerville, South Carolina, and it was a Southern Baptist school, and a lot of the people, not all of them, but not I was on the periphery, but a lot of them were there as ministerial students, and they were going into the ministry, and
Yeah.
so I did that I was there about 2 years, and
What led you there first?
I I just figured that's what I was going to do.
You just figured that's what you were going to do, like.
and decided to do it. Yeah,
Okay.
I've never had a bucket list. I just decided I want to do like this stand up comedy thing. I just,
Okay.
just
So
it's presents
you-
yourself, and I want to do it.
Winging it.
just winging it. I like it. Yeah, winging it can work out good sometimes when
Well,
But,
I do it with some thought.
with some thought. Yeah, right. I was going to say
and
a
some
little thought added
direction,
in.
yeah, so.
Sprinkle a little bit of
Well,
consistency and
not too
dedication
much.
in there. Yeah. But I was curious. So you studied like the outer edges of the ministry, or is that what it was, or how
Well,
did it go?
just
in there?
there's a lot of that going on at school, and I had Bible classes and chapel every day and all that wonderful stuff. But it was just 2 years, and I really wanted to just drop out, and I decided there was a program on called Sea Hunt.
Yeah.
And it was Mike Nelson, and he was a scuba diver, and he would have stories every week about sea hunt, and so I got kind of interested in that,
Yeah.
so I said, this is what I want to do. So
Sea
I'm
hunt.
reading the magazine, and and I wanted to think about going to Scripps Institute in La Jolla or Woods Hole in Massachusetts and be an oceanographer.
Wow. Really?
Seemed like a logical thing to me to do. But anyhow, I wanted to become a diver, and I found this school in Fort Lauderdale actually, and they had about a 4-month course that you went through. And you first became a scuba instructor, and then shallow water diving with the mask, just a mask and the hose going up the surface.
Okay.
And then hard hat diving with the canvas suit and the copper helmet. And that was a most interesting thing to do. It was run by, I don't know when the SEALs came into actual being, but I think the frogmen, I think, were the beginning of that. And the instructors I had
The
came.
frogman, like Navy SEALs.
Well, they were called frogmen then.
Okay.
They were called frogmen, and they had
What time frame was this? I don't mean to
this was back in the early '60s.
So the frogmen back then, I mean, if I'm remembering correctly, the SEALs and Special Forces were introduced around that time frame.
Yeah, around that
Yeah.
time frame.
Yeah.
But World War, these guys came out of World War II.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were underwater demolition team experts
Okay.
and underwater or explosive ordnance disposal experts. And they
Yeah.
were all crazy.
You have to be.
They were
You got to be
all
crazy to mess with bombs,
insane.
man. You got to be.
I didn't so much just setting them, but
I like-
the guy that went out and let him.
Let me say a good kind of crazy, like, because they're guys that know. Like, I know some people. Like, I served with some people that got big balls. Let me say that, to deal with some of the explosives that they do.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, you gotta, yeah. But anyway,
And these guys were big intimidators too. You know, we were just kids. These were old saltsmen.
when you say
these were
kids,
real
how old
people.
do you mean?
I was like 18, 19, something like that.
So you went to school before this for 2 years?
Yeah. Well, I was 8. Maybe I was 20. Let's say 20. I don't know, somewhere in there. I'm 81, man. Time kind of loses itself. The relative importance of it. But anyhow, it was around then. And it was right, and they were coming into being then. But these were the ones
Yeah.
that in World War II, and so the scuba stuff was all pretty simple. And to pass the test, they had 3 guys. One was a big, pretty good size fella, and he was pretty tough.
Yeah.
But he was a fairly nice guy. And to pass the scuba test, where they put about 50 pounds of weight on you, put you in the bottom of water, and then he would come around and we'd jerk your mask off, and they would pull your regular air out of your mouth. He'd turn your air off. He would do everything he could to disrupt you. So yeah, that was kind of simple. But
That
then,
sounds like the disruptive stuff that I've heard people that I've known in service that they do that kind of stuff with you in the underwater training, and I'm talking about guys that like went through like special operations training. They would talk about certain parts, other parts you're not supposed to talk about, but
Right.
yeah, they really disrupt you under the surface like that.
that was there was a movie, A Few Good Men, I believe it was, and it was Cuba Gooding. And
No,
and
you're
he
thinking
was-
about. I know that you're thinking
not A
about.
Few Good Men.
It was Cuba Gooding Jr., but
Yeah, it
you're
was Cuba
thinking
Gooding.
about. He was the first black naval diver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Great movie.
And a
Great
lot
movie.
of the things they did, like running with the log, that they would there were like 8 of us that were together, and they would take 2 groups of 4, but I would always be down here, and the guys up
Yeah.
here. So they'd make it as difficult as they could, and you'd run. They would keep you out all night long, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then we had to do underwater demolition. We had to get in the water and swim dynamite out to basically a thing we were going to blow up, and then come back and wire it up and yell fire in a hole, and then
Wow.
blow it up. And they would do things like, they said, now there was a train track close by, and they said, now the frequency for train could set this up. They'd anything to mess with you.
Frequency from a train could set it
Yeah,
off.
that was
frequent.
the story they wanted us to
A train in
believe.
the
No,
ocean?
no. Go ahead, Lori.
I said a train in the ocean.
No. This was in the Intercoastal Waterway. Actually, most of this, we were in it. We spent a lot of time in the ocean.
So you're saying that like the frequency that the train would emit could set off underwater
Well,
explosives or
vibrations.
That's
something?
what they
the
said.
vibrations. There you go.
And at the time, we
Let
believed
me
it. I
fix your
don't think it
microphone
really
a little
could have.
bit. And can you like tilt it in towards you? Oh, here we're gonna do a
There you
little on the spot correction because I'm not hearing you as well.
That's cool.
Okay.
You're leaning towards Bill. I just need you to speak into the microphone.
Okay, I'll try.
Podcasting stuff, you know.
limp.
Yeah, that's what she said. Can you undo this and redo it? We'll edit this out or let people watch it. It's funny either way. Yeah, that's what she said. You know,
You threw yourself
I
off.
did throw myself
Oh,
off.
what's going on here?
So What is going on here? You got to tighten it the other way. Righty
Yeah,
tighty.
the other way. Yeah.
Righty tighty, lefty loosey. You could adjust your chair a little bit if you need to, like towards Bill to get closer to the microphone.
However,
Hey, babe.
You're in the
real
shot
close
good.
to me, baby.
So, what did you think your life was going to look like at that point?
Oh, I had no idea. It didn't. I was just going to enjoy it. I thought that's the way. Even through high school, I was captain of a wrestling team. I was very athletic, and there we go again.
That's okay.
How about I just hold
That's
it?
the one right there. Yeah,
You just got to tighten it like this. That's all right. We're going to edit all this out. Doesn't even matter.
that's all cool.
At what point in your life did you realize that wasn't the path that you were going to stay on? I guess is really the thing that I wanted to ask.
Well, when I went into the Air Force, I started reading the Wall Street Journal and started becoming aware of stuff like that, and reading a lot more about finance and was getting quite an interest. And then financial services teams, there was a paper go out on Wall Street, and there was a rift going on, which meant everybody was
Before we move on to Wall Street, because I definitely want to hear about that. So you got interested.
The
You got yeah. So you got interested in Wall Street, but while you were doing the diving, right? Lori, what part of that chapter do you want to know about?
That was when I was in the Air Force.
What
actually.
kind of stuff did you blow up?
There you
okay,
go.
okay.
That's a
they
good
had-
question.
Well, you know, like the stuff Cuba Gooding went through when he had to do the flange, and it was,
Yeah.
we had three huge barrels that had you had put on the canvas diving suit and the copper helmet, and you had the lifeline and air
The whole
hose,
way he did it, like
whole
getting in
way.
the suit, yeah.
And
Wow.
so you went through one part of the barrel, and you came up, and then they had another one about waist high, and you had to kind of crawl through that a little hole to get into the third one, and the third one was pitch black. You couldn't see a thing. I
Yeah.
mean, there's
That
just
makes
no
me
way.
claustrophobic.
So you
just
had
thinking
to
about
Right?
it.
the
Right?
It made you
Claustrophobic.
No,
thinking about it.
no, you couldn't. You couldn't. Well, it could have, but you didn't want it to. No.
If you start thinking about it, it becomes
if
really
you're thinking
real.
about it. But anyhow, we had to take this flange and blow to blow the suit full of air to really get up and down with it. There's a flange on the inside of that copper helmet. Now these are the old timey things, and you put the flange in your cheek like this and pulled it, and then that shut off all the exhaust, so the air that was coming into the suit just began filling it up because it was airtight. It was so airtight that
Wow.
if you put your foot up your shin and into the water without blowing air into your suit, it would pitch blood blisters. I mean, it was.
Oh, my
it was-
God.
Yeah, so it was pretty intense. But anyhow, what was I was saying about that they did that, the flange. Oh, we had to take a jetting hose.
A jetting hose. What's a jetting hose?
It's basically a fire hose we had to have over our shoulder and we had to bury ourselves in mud alive. We had to be covered. They had to
You
watch
had to
us.
bury yourselves in mud
I had
alive
to, yeah.
underneath the
It
surface of the water.
made us bury ourselves. And
What
then
is
underwater-
wrong with you? Can I ask that question? I'm totally kidding, but really, what's wrong with you?
No, this is fun.
So many things.
They wouldn't do this. They wouldn't do this without really knowing it.
No, I know.
And I felt I was safe all the time.
The average person on the outside looking in has to go like, "What the f is wrong with you, bro?"
But it
Why
was-
would you?
Okay,
But you know,
why
it
the
takes a
mud?
stable on person. Go ahead, Lori.
No, I just said, why the mud? Why the mud?
well, just we were in the intercoastal waterway right most of the time, and it was mud, and so they just made us take his fire hose and they turned it on and.
But what was the purpose of making you go through?
The claustrophobic? Just everything you could do to
You're
make
not talking
you.
about while you're in the water. Are you talking about training?
While you're in the water.
You're in the water.
So you're underneath a certain amount, like just say 20
you
feet
had
of
to-
water,
yeah,
30
you
feet of
had-
water, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you have to
Just and
submerge
then just-
yourself in mud. What's the purpose of getting submerged in mud that
because
you would
you're-
run into on the
because
job?
You're buried completely. You're not just in up to here. You're in over your head. You can't see anything. You don't know what. And so you have to blow your suit and try to get back up again. And I mean,
So that's-
it's all stuff that's.
But, well,
doable.
I understand that things can shift suddenly under the surface of the ocean, and so if something shifted and you're working on the ground level floor of things, so to speak, like literally ground level floor, the surface shifts and stuff, you could probably get compressed under some level of soil that to you is pretty significant. I would imagine is the reason
I
for
had a
that.
situation like that, but the other thing it made us do was underwater welding, electric arc, And they said, okay, now when you yell power on, and we had the rod, on the metal, and when you say power on,
Yeah.
that thing could fly back and hit you in the head in that copper helmet, in which case it will electrocute you.
Yeah.
This is just intimidation stuff. It might have, I don't know, but it never did.
Well, they probably just want you to be aware of it, I'm guessing.
But and I'll tell you the kind of stuff you can run into. One day, there was an old barge that had sunk in the intercoastal.
Yeah.
And the intercoastal goes out on the how, maybe 20, 30 feet, maybe deeper, I don't know. But it kind of slopes in, at the sides. And the barge had sunk, and the barge was sitting like this on its side. So they normally have a tender that tends your lifeline and air hose, and then you have telephones that you could talk into inside the helmet, the speakers and earpiece and everything. And
Yeah.
but the telephones were out that day. So all I had, and what I had to do was, and again, it was a muddy situation. I had to go into the water and go down and start going up and down the side by blowing my suit and coming back down, up and down the side to see where the holes were. So maybe we could, fill, fix the holes and blow it with air and get it out of there.
Yeah.
And so I came around the end of the barge, and I was, standing up. Those shoes weighed like 10 pounds or 15 pounds each. I forget, maybe it was 20. I don't know. They were pretty heavy. But and normally what I would do is I would put my mouth in the flange. I'd pull the flange, show off all the exhaust. My suit would start filling, and I would just slowly kind of climb up the side of the wall.
Yeah.
And I got about 4 or 5 feet up, and I fell back down. I said, oh, man. So I tried it again, and I fell back down. And I said,
Yeah.
oh, maybe I don't have enough air in my suit. So instead of turning it up, I turned it down.
Yeah.
And so I started seeing white spots, and I was standing in the mud, and I was actually
That's a
starting.
dangerous
I was starting,
situation to
I
be
was
in
starting
right
to.
there.
Well, I had no phones, and they didn't know, but I started to sink in mud. And so I said, well, there's only one thing. So I had to follow my lifeline and air hose back. And, the flange, it comes out where they throw the rope to dock and everything.
Yeah.
Big metal.
Yeah.
Well, my lifeline air hose had caught on that. So every time I tried to go, so I freed that. And they got off. But that was pretty harrowing for a while. So that was the kind of thing that situations you get into. And had I actually been able to really pursue that,
Yeah.
I'm sure that all that knowledge would have come in handy because, there are a few second chances
Yeah,
when
but you
all
didn't
that
die.
stuff goes
Look at
wrong.
that.
Yeah.
What's
Good
that?
job. Said you didn't die. Good job.
No, of course not. I had a good time. I was in Fort Lauderdale. I mean, give me a break. I was a kid. I was having a blast. But then I wanted to get a job. I was in New Orleans with a buddy of mine.
I'm sorry. I'm messing with
No,
Lori's
it's okay,
microphone
man.
here.
I got
and
you. I got you.
I'm trying to.
Is it
Okay.
better?
Go ahead.
But,
What were you saying, Bill?
So I was in New Orleans with a buddy of mine, and we were looking to get jobs on diving on oil rigs, or there was a South African firm that there was some kind of diving off the coast for precious gems and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
so we were signing the papers, and I got a call from my folks, and they said, your draft number came up. And I said, oh. And so
Time to go.
And because
Oh,
I
my
dropped out of
God.
college, I wasn't exempt anymore. So then I went into the Air Force, and I just, for some reason, just a kid thing. I really thought that through. I did the deep sea diving. I was really good. I was in there with Navy guys. My father had been in the Navy. My uncles had been in the Navy.
Yeah.
I joined the Air Force. I don't know why.
You don't know why you decided to join the Air Force. I wondered that last
remember.
week.
I do not remember why I just thought it was a good idea.
So
I don't
did you
know.
get to choose computers like Signal, or did they just hand that to you? They didn't hand you infantry?
Well, they made you take the test and everything.
So
and-
you qualified for something better is what
Yeah,
you're saying. Okay,
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. And so I
Not necessarily, I don't mean to say better.
No.
You qualified for something that a higher GT score would allow doors to open
well,
for you.
yeah,
There you go.
and it was a skill you could that there's
Right, it very
portable.
much is, yes.
Right. So
Yeah.
And the computers we ran in there were like we had card readers. They
I
had
remember those.
punch cards, man.
I actually got trained on those at one point. You know
well,
what? I actually had one of those old card readers in my inventory as a forward support NCO when I was on the gun line in the field artillery. I had to account for that thing every month with my commander. Yes, I still have this useless piece of
Piece of
shit.
junk.
It's a paperweight. We could not use it. We
They were huge.
We didn't. But that's what y'all lived on, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We had they had a key punch crew and they keyed in all the
Yep.
information and then
Sure did.
we'd take the cards over to the sorter. We'd grab about 2,000 cards like that and stick them in. So it was interesting. It was interesting. But then when I was in the Air Force, like I say, I started reading financial.
Before we go into the Air Force, because
yeah.
that's a topic I would like to actually come back to later on in greater detail.
Yeah.
I wanted to know something about, so we can kind of close out the diving thing. Unless you already told us, give us a moment just a moment in time that you'll never forget from that.
Well, going around that barge, I'll never forget.
The barge.
When I was on the barge and
Yeah.
in the diving suit and was
Yeah.
sinking into the mud and,
Yeah.
and was caught on the flange coming out there because I was underwater when all this was happening.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know the barge was part of that. Did I miss that part?
Yeah, well, the barge was sunk in the intercoastal.
Lori says yes, I did.
Well, you were messing. You're busy.
I
with
was
that.
actually messing with it, so I probably missed that part.
I understand.
That's,
but anyhow, yeah,
but that was a crazy,
Yeah.
crazy, scary story. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go
Lori.
ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying you're playing with your toys.
I played with it twice.
Yeah, that's what she said.
But
Um,
and just beautiful dives. I dove in the in the Gulf or no, this is right off the coast of Fort Lauderdale in the Atlantic.
Beautiful
And,
area.
we went down. We dropped this white rope down into the water, and it just went down like into infinity. Then we went down. We all about 3 or 4 of us went down about 100 feet.
Yeah.
And just looked up. It was just going. It was just a beautiful scene. And then one time they made us swim a compass course. They had one guy that
You had to do underwater navigation.
yeah.
I've read about it.
We put the compass was right here.
Yeah.
And I don't know who had the watch, but he the guy that was my partner was. He was up top and I was a little bit down below, and then he was signaling and we would go out and we had to go out and into the right and then up and then all the way across and down and over and in. And it was a time thing. We were supposed to end up where we started, which I'm pretty sure we didn't. But he said, my partner, my partner, I think we were hungover. No, but he said,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Go ahead, Bill.
But he said, Bill, when I pulled the rope, did you feel that? I said, yeah. He said, man, Ray, it was about 2 inches from you, just coming right up.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't even see it.
Those things are big too.
Yeah, this was pretty big. Yeah, but anyhow, so that was just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Lori, you said you looked like you had something you were about gearing up to say.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
That's cool.
Okay.
I was just listening to.
All right.
I'm trying to picture it. Bill riding a manta ray.
It's fun, man.
I wanted to ask you one more thing about diving, and then we'll move on. What did diving teach you about fear or control?
Well, again, I never thought too much. I thought more about like having fun.
More about having fun. You
that's
didn't
just-
think
Think that
about the
comes with
danger. and
age.
Okay.
No, just having fun. You
said
know
you
that
were just a
saying,
baby.
young, dumb, and whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, that was me, man. I was full of all of it.
God.
I can't
Okay.
imagine.
Yeah.
I
Not at
didn't
all.
go there. I didn't go there.
Okay. And then you got drafted into the Air Force.
Right. Well, I joined, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you joined. Your draft card got pulled up, and you got
Yeah,
to choose. I'm going to go into the Air Force. I'm just going to volunteer,
Yeah.
and you got to choose the job you wanted. Kudos, by the way. What was that like? That transition going from diving into the military, where a branch of service where you're not going to dive.
Well, I actually diving kind of went out of my head at that point. I was doing something.
You just focused on the task at hand. Okay.
I was doing well. I couldn't go back, and so
Yeah.
I was where I was, and I was going to be there for a while, and so I just wanted to enjoy that as much as I could.
Change of scenery, learn something different.
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay,
absolutely. And
fair enough.
I came from a town of 5,000 people. the county had 5,000 people.
The whole
It
county.
had 2 red lights, 5,000 people. Yeah, it was a small thing called Bedford, Pennsylvania. Was the name of the town. It's aged nicely, but it's still a tiny little town. And then I went into the Air Force, and of course that exposed me to a lot. And then from there directly to New York to work. And,
Yeah.
but it was it was just all happened, and it was just all enjoyable.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how long did you stay in?
Well, the tour was 4 years, but I think I did 3 years and 9 months or something like that because of they were letting people out early. They needed to turn over the personnel or something.
Right. And so you ended up having to stay a little bit longer.
No,
and-
no, a little less.
Oh, less. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Less.
3
Yeah, it
years,
was a
9
riff.
months.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how I didn't hear you. You're in my headphones. Yeah.
You're in my head, Bill.
That's good. That's good. You know, the Air Force, the Army wouldn't have done that for you. So, but with the whole stop loss thing, because they were drafting people then, they weren't just letting people out early.
Oh no.
In certain branches of service, Air Force, I could see that happening, just because of the mission requirements.
Right.
Yeah.
I
But that's interesting.
but yeah, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't out real early, but
No, I mean, it was a little bit.
It was early.
Hey, 6 months early in Vietnam. I was in Afghanistan. I was not in Vietnam. I cannot compare the two. They're two different wars.
Oh,
but I
yeah,
wouldn't have
I
wanted
know.
to be in the place that I was
either-
6 months.
Either one of them, yeah.
6 months longer in Afghanistan would have been, and we almost got extended.
Yeah. Well, I didn't go
So-
to Vietnam.
Yeah.
I stayed at. I enlisted and
So you didn't actually go to
no. I
Vietnam.
went. I said I would, but when
Okay.
But I never went. What was I going to say?
So you said you stayed at McGuire Dix. Is
Yeah.
the
Oh,
thing.
they
Okay.
wanted. They said I was needed right away, and so I couldn't take any leave when I got out of basic. So I went right up, and I got a tech school. That was in Shepherd in
Shepherd,
Wichita
yeah.
Falls. Yeah.
Familiar with that
El
one. I haven't been
Paso.
there, but I've
Yeah.
known people that went
And
there.
so,
and
I
went
went
for.
to, like I say, I enlisted from Newark, and they put me in McGuire, which was about 60 miles away. And it was very close to New York, and it was very close to Atlantic City. And I kind of felt bad how a good time I was having. But, no, but it was a time. It was a time. But I began reading the Wall Street Journal and financial publications, and got an interest in the stock market.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and
Well,
then, Oh, go ahead.
Well, let's move on and talk about that then. After your honorable discharge, like you said, you go to New York, right?
Yeah.
And you end up on 44 Wall Street as a banker and then a stockbroker. That's a major shift. You're coming out of being in uniform in service and during the Vietnam War. How did that opportunity really come about? Like you said, you were thinking about it.
They said they knew there was going to be I guess the service had made it public that a lot of people were going to be getting out at one time. So Wall Street was having a paper crunch. This is what's unbelievable. That was in the late '60s. They were no, it was mid '60s. They were having a paper crunch because they were trading 10 million shares a day, which 10 million shares is traded in a nanosecond now.
You're right.
They weren't They didn't have the computers. They were just getting into that.
The tech just didn't support the.
Because it
at
was
the
all
time.
done by hand. They had clerks that were doing all the math and
Right.
Wow.
I mean, it was yeah.
So you said that basically when they got wind of service members being released early, they doubled down on stocks. Is that what you're saying?
No, they came down and had a job interview.
Oh, okay. I completely
And
misunderstood
so,
what you're saying.
maybe I didn't say it.
Okay,
But they
that's
had a
fine.
job interview, and of course they hired me, and I said, okay. I'll
Okay,
report
so
to
they
you.
had there's a lot of service members coming out early, and you had the opportunity to interview for it.
Yeah.
Boom,
yeah,
you got a
yeah.
job.
As a matter of fact, another guy that
That's
a guy
awesome.
that did a lot of that stuff was Ross Perot. He hired a lot of people coming out of the service.
Ross Perot,
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he bought a
election interruptus.
He bought a he bought a
Yeah.
brokerage firm, and
Yeah.
but anyhow, so when I was on Wall Street, they had there was a 5-day settlement. You bought a stock, you had 5 days, actually 5 business days, which was basically 7 days to pay for it. and and they if say a client at Chase Manhattan had bought 1,000 shares of IBM or something from Merrill Lynch,
Yeah.
then Merrill Lynch had to deliver at the end of within that 5 business days. They had to deliver the physical shares. They carried them in these leather pouches. They had to deliver the physical shares to Chase, and Chase would book them in and put them in the client's account.
Yeah.
So it was just all it was pretty tedious work. And I mean, these old runners, they were amazing. There was an old runner, I remember his name was Bert. And Bert, he ate out of garbage cans. I
Yeah.
promise you, he really actually ate out of garbage cans. I remember,
I thought
but
that was
Bert
Oscar.
died. And
Oscar.
he had invested his money,
Yeah.
and Bert was worth millions.
Why was he eating out of garbage cans?
I don't know. But it was just he was just eating
Is that
out of
some-
It's a
garbage
working lunch.
Oh my God.
cans. Yeah.
Working. It sounds like it.
But yeah, they were doing that, and then I went through the whole thing for, well, actually, to become a stockbroker, I didn't have a degree yet, so I went to Pace University, and I knew I
Right.
had to have a degree, so I got a degree in finance, did some, and then I was hired by E.F. Hutton,
E.F. Hutton,
and
yeah.
and that was interesting because when E.F. Hutton speaks,
Mhm.
people, I was so fun, I had so much fun with that.
Mm.
But they put us in a training boardroom, and I had a class of about 7 or 8. I can still remember all that. Is David Shipper, who was best man at Neil Diamond's wedding, and
Wow,
these
yeah.
were some of these were Ivy League people. Some were just Roger Comfort, Joe. I mean, all these guys have gone on and done pretty well.
Mhm.
And but we had to go through 6 months of just training, just every day, 8 hours a day. We would read. We would have people come in and talk to us about how to speak. They would come in and talk to us about how to set up a formal dining. They did crazy stuff like that, and educate you constantly. You were studying something, and then we had to take a test. At the end, a series 7 test to,
Yeah.
and it took about 3-4 hours, and
Mm.
then we all passed. All 7 or 8 of us went to one of those peak show movies on in New York. I don't know why. We just figured that's what we were going to do. I don't know. It just seemed like a good thing to do, and we did.
Rite of
I won't even
passage.
tell you the lines in the
Yeah.
movie that are still embedded etched into my head.
Wow.
I'll tell you later.
Oh man.
And yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, Bill.
So and then I worked in New York, and well, I had a wife and a child, son, and so I wanted to move into a different environment for him.
How old were they at this time? Your kids?
I just had one, and he was about 4 or 5. 6.
Okay.
I,
Born while you were working on Wall Street, or
oh, no, when I was in the Air Force.
while you were in the Air Force?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, which was interesting.
Okay.
But so, but I moved from New York to Atlanta, and was a stockbroker in Atlanta. I worked with Lehman Brothers.
Well, why'd you leave New York and go to
Once
Atlanta?
again, I had because I wanted to maybe get my family into another place other than New York.
Okay,
I love
okay.
New York. It was
Okay.
New York. I graduated
fair.
from college there. It was a wonderful place.
Yeah.
But and I went back a lot every year because of the nature of my work. But I was a broker in Atlanta, and then moved to Dallas,
Can I ask you real quick?
and that was a breakup kind of move thing. Fresh start.
Let me pause for a second and ask you what was that world like when you stepped into it? What was it like?
The Wall Street world.
Yeah.
It was old school. It was
Old school how? What do you mean?
well,
I don't know Wall Street. I don't know what new school
because
is.
the old well, okay. I'll give you an example.
Okay.
My last few years, and this is decades later, after I was president of a research firm, but decades later, I would stay at the New York Athletic Club. on Central Park South. When I went up to New York, I'd normally be there 1 or 2 weeks, at least a year.
Yeah.
And and the New York Athletic Club, you could not you couldn't go into the lobby without your jacket on. You couldn't wear jeans in the lobby. You had to have your cell phone had to be turned off.
You had a cell phone then?
Yeah. This was 2000.
Wait, how long did you do? How long did you do?
About 40 years.
Oh,
God,
wow.
I didn't realize that.
I got to ring the bell, open the exchange.
You did say that.
I've been in
You
Forbes,
said cell phone.
Barron's.
I'm picturing like the
I was like,
the old phones that you used to have to.
Oh no,
They were
no,
in their own
this is-
suitcase.
right?
No, I can't bring it to mind right now, but it was this was in the end of 2000. So,
Okay, all right, yeah.
know,
You saw it really go through
I saw
massive changes
I
then.
saw the entire thing, and the people were. It was alpha, all alpha males.
There were no females, no.
A few,
Okay.
but very, very few. And it was chauvinistic. It was a different kind of atmosphere. They had no
Right.
women on the floor of the exchange.
Mhm.
Well, one, Betty Toomey, she worked on the floor, and she said she took more crap from these old men.
I bet.
Not
I
bad,
can imagine,
not
yeah.
really bad. So she loved it. She loved her career.
Yeah.
So it was.
But she took a lot of stuff in order to
yeah.
make that career.
Well,
I imagine.
no, but she didn't mind. She
didn't
had
mind,
the
yeah.
same playful personality. Yeah, they weren't going to say anything to
Yeah.
offend her. She
Yeah.
was
Thick skin.
Yeah.
She's there to serve her
Well,
purpose.
not
and do
only
it.
that, she didn't really. It didn't matter what they said because she knew who she was.
She knew who she was. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. But I've been down on the floor of the exchange. I when I worked on Wall Street, we'd go out to lunch, and there were always a lot of girls sitting on the steps of the sub treasury.
Yeah.
That's right there at the corner wall and Broad,
Mhm.
and of course they'd be so we'd go by with our sunglasses, look at all the girls, and go down to Battery Park, and we'd walk around Battery Park.
Set a few
You know,
traps.
And then if we had things to do uptown, we'd go to a deli and get a sandwich and a soda,
Yeah.
and go out and Central Rock in Central Park and spend our lunch that way. And so it was interesting. But yeah, the transition on the street was just there was a huge transition
Yeah.
that went on, and I was right there through all of it. And like I say, there were all alpha males. So and brilliant people. Gosh, I met and was around a lot of brilliant and even wealthy.
Yeah.
The billionaire kind of people.
Yeah.
Even back then, I had friends that 40, 50 years ago, they were making like say $1 million, $1.5 million a year, and they were,
I wonder how many shoulders you kind of brushed up against working then that are major players in that industry now.
well, well, a lot of them have retired now,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
a lot of them, a lot of them that when I say a lot, dozens, I would imagine that really.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was just a massive. You can imagine it's just a massive humanity down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was, but that was, and when I got to Dallas, I realized that when I got information and I was passing it on to my clients, I was the last one to know. So they'd be selling me stock 81. And so. I got together with a couple other fellas and one other actually, and we built an algorithm. And the algorithm, it was able to discern out of a large population of stocks. It was able to identify a small percentage of those stocks that would significantly outperform the population over time. And that was like 2,000 U.S. stocks. And at the other end, it would significantly underperform. And because of the number of stocks we followed,
Yeah.
institutional investors could use the research that it was called Channel Trend. I called the company Channel Trend, and because what we did is we developed a standard deviation band that going back over a period of years, a volatility band,
Yeah.
and then within that volatility band, the stocks would trade within there to like two standard deviations, which is like 97.5% of the time.
Yeah.
So when it would go down to the bottom, it was a good time to buy it up at the top. And then you looked at long-term momentum. We looked at a lot. It was just all math, all mathematics,
Yeah.
just billions and millions and billions of numbers.
That's crazy.
But so I sold that to institutions in New York, Boston, traveled everywhere. Zurich.
Zurich.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Met with
Well-traveled man.
met with a Swiss banker, a partner of mine, and I met with a Swiss banker at Bank Cantrade, which is the Dutch bank in Zurich, and he managed the money. His name was Jürgen Conset, as I recall. He's graduated. He got his PhD from Stanford.
Wow.
So he was well educated, and Jürg asked us. He said, "Why do you boys not come and have dinner at dine with me at the bank?" And so we got to the bank, and we had this little private dining room,
Yeah.
and there were just the three of us sitting in a dining room, and we had just white gloved waiters with china and everything. So before we start, the other says, "Oh, you boys are from Texas. I guess you'd like to." And we had meetings the rest of the afternoon, but this is about 11:30 in the morning. So,
Yeah.
"You boys, I guess you're from Texas. You probably want some whiskey to start." I said, "No." But we had beer, and then he said, he looks at me and says, "Now, you select the white wine for the first serving." And I said, "I you say that." So anyhow, so we're drinking the white wine, drank a bottle, and then he said, "Now for the second serving, we're going to have red wine." We drank a bottle of red wine.
A bottle.
Well, the three of us.
Okay.
But
You had a
still,
third of a
that's
bottle.
2 bottles and a whiskey, and so we're sitting there.
That's
and
still
we're
a little much
talking.
for lunch.
Yeah.
Well,
This is a lunch still. right?
And we're talking, and all of a sudden, and then in comes this waiter with white gloves and this china plate with 3 Cuban cigars and 3 brandy snifters.
Right.
I'm looking like, oh my God.
Oh, God.
So, and the Swiss are pretty punctual. If you have something at 3:02. Then it's a 3:02, not 3:03 or not 3:01. It's 3:02. You're supposed to be there,
Yeah.
And so we got out of that, and I said to my partner, I said, "Man, you take these, and I'll take these. I'll go see these people." And but we screwed the whole thing up the rest of the afternoon.
Oh, my goodness.
But it was
Wow.
fun. It was fun. We had a good time.
Yeah.
But it was just stuff like that all the time that we got to do. I had I gave an interview to Forbes magazine, Business Week.
Wow.
Kiplinger's was.
Do you keep copies of that?
What's that? They're out there. They're around somewhere. I know.
You don't have copies?
No, I keep that stuff.
Mm.
I
That'd be
move on.
cool.
I move on. Yeah, it would be, but I move on.
Well-
So anyhow, that's
Well, Bill, we're coming up on time here.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to ask you something else about Wall Street real quick, and then give Lori a chance to kind of close out with anything she wanted to comment or ask on. And then we'll kind of close it out. But what did Wall Street teach you about success or people?
Well, I met out of the thousands of people I met about 4 or 5 gentlemen over that 40-something year period. Not because everybody else was, they were not. And
When you say gentlemen, you mean like
gentlemen, good, really,
just a
good
real
people that were gentlemen.
their mama raised them
people
right.
that wanted you to be comfortable in their presence. And,
Okay.
and yeah.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
they really thought about things like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I just dealt with I dealt with so many people that
Yeah.
were like, and I just taught me there were asses and never good people and
Yeah.
and don't let the asses bother you too much.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of them up there too, and that was a big noise.
I don't know what that
I don't
was.
know what
But
it was either.
so
don't
I don't
know.
know that it taught me much except the knowledge I got just about how everything operates and how the world
Okay.
operates, and I think
Well,
that
you
gave me
came
I had
into
a good
that
look
as
at
a.
that.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No,
you
no.
came into that as a young man, young father. You got to see how the world really operates. You got to see some gentlemen are not really gentlemen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Oh
you
yeah.
saw a lot of things and you learned a lot of life about that. So
Oh yeah, it was a tremendous
that's
amount of life,
amazing.
and just the three cities, New York, Atlanta, and Dallas, were
Yeah.
because I immersed myself in cities, and then I traveled to every
Yeah.
city of any over a population of a half a million, every city in the country. Most of them frequently like Boston, L.A., New York. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah, I was in the air a lot. I was flying a lot.
Yeah.
But because my clients in my final my client list was, it was an A list of clients. Goldman Sachs was a client, Merrill
Wow.
Lynch was a client,
Mm.
C.S. Curtis was First Boston, Lehman when it was around, Bear Stearns when it was around. They were clients, and there were one or two others. But I had not Prudential, but the principal financial. They used my model. They had a quantitative model that they
Yeah.
incorporated my work into,
Yeah.
and they ran with about 7 inputs. They ran about $40 to $50 billion back then.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to be running a lot of money to because our big service was not cheap.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Lori, before we close this out, what you got for Bill?
You lived in all those places, and you still end up in little bitty Tullahoma, Tennessee.
Right?
and you know where my favorite place was?
Here?
Wherever I am.
Wherever you are. I like it.
I swear. I love New York. I loved Atlanta. I loved Dallas. I loved the town I grew up in. And
Yeah.
I love Tullahoma. You know, I will say this about Tullahoma. I think there's probably more love per square inch
Mm.
in Tullahoma than.
Aw.
I
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
wake up and say everybody. You walk down the street. There's hello, hi, hey, how
Yeah.
you doing? People come up to me all that. You really feel welcome. Here,
Yeah.
I've always felt welcome everywhere, but here
I
it's
agree.
probably just a little bit better.
You know what, Bill? I agree. I'm an out of towner. I'm not from Tullahoma.
Right.
This is a
I'm also a
relatively
transplant.
yeah, it's a relatively new area for me. Very, very kind, polite people here. Just
Yeah.
good, salt of the earth. I love it.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good, like I say. But I love everywhere because I like to immerse myself into wherever I am and enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I have one last question for you.
Yeah.
So, what would you say to someone who feels like it's too late?
Oh man, wow! It's absolutely never too late, man. We're giving these bodies and these minds to use and sometimes to abuse, but to use it and to take advantage of all the stuff, all the things, all the many wonderful things you can do, and all the ways you can just
Yeah.
challenge yourself. Not terribly, not huge challenges, but just challenge yourself to do a little more. Like again, the stand-up comedy routine I'm going to do. I've never
Yeah.
done that in my
Anxious
life.
to hear more about that
But
once
I
you,
wanted to.
once
Oh
it
yeah,
comes around. Yeah.
I'll be about 82 when I do that. That should be a lot of fun. And I'm
be
doing
awesome.
the Instagram and all that stuff. So everything is just. And I'm pretty old, so anybody that wants to give it up, they can. But I think I think I have. I've been given. What I've been given me,
Yeah.
and if and it's just. I just to love and to have fun. I think, and
That's
learn
fair.
things. I'm pretty. I've become.
Oh
Oh no, Miss Mill.
Bill.
But yeah, it's just been it's never too late to start anything.
There you go.
Even the exercise and healthy eating. At 81, I am still benefiting from exercise. So I know how the body ages and nutrition. I know how the body ages, but I also know how to keep it well. And
Yeah.
so far, since I was 70, I have reversed my aging process.
Yeah.
I've become decades younger, as far as I'm concerned, because of it just
Benjamin Button.
Benjamin Button. Yeah.
There you go.
But
No,
it just feels like
right,
that's somewhat subjective,
right.
but I've become decades younger just by applying myself and challenging myself a little, and
Yeah,
telling me that just stepping outside my boundary, just
yeah,
step outside that boundary just a little bit. You don't have to step up big, just
yeah,
but
yeah.
every now and then just step
Baby steps,
outside
do
your
something.
comfort
Yeah,
level.
and
Yeah.
I love what you've
Little baby steps.
little bitty baby steps. So I love what you've done here, and not only with your own life, and refusing to just say like, okay, well it's that point in life where I just sit back and I just wait for the end. No, the Grim Reaper's gonna have to catch up with you. Like you said, you're gonna have running shoes on.
Better be high stepping.
He
Just
better be
high stepping. Right
high-stepping,
behind me.
high-stepping.
Yeah, here I come.
But
He'll
you've
catch me.
taken all of this and not just applied it to your life, but you started sharing it with other people, and you have started helping other people. You've started helping an age group, a demographic that gets ignored on so many levels, right?
All right.
And
Right.
you've become an active member in, hey, there's a better way to do this. Let me show you. You know, and I think that's awesome. So when you look back at all of these chapters, you know, ministry, diving, military, Wall Street, that's an amazing thread of life right there. And to me, that's what stands out. You don't live one life. You've been living multiple chapters. You know?
Yeah, continue to remake myself, I guess, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's life is about being engaged, and no matter what your age is, if I'm still benefiting
Yeah.
from the things I'm doing, then at my age, then it's never too late.
No.
And when I was 70, if I'd stayed like I was when I was 70, I'd be 81 right now. Instead, I think I'm just decades younger than that.
Yeah.
So,
It's an interesting perspective. I
Every
like
time
that.
I see you in public, you're never not having fun.
Right.
You're always
that's it.
having fun.
I don't know why I have so much fun. I guess I even I'm kind of like the ambassador of fun. I enjoy it. I just enjoy life. Well, why
Yeah.
wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? And I'm gonna die. I know that.
Well, we all are, but you don't have to just anticipate that day with the time that you have left on this earth. What you're doing is filling that time with living life.
Yeah,
You know,
that's all.
they say you only live once. No, you live every day. You die once, but you live every day you wake up if you choose to.
Yeah, and the frightening thing is not dying.
Would you say,
Frightening
Lori?
thing.
Said Yodo.
Yodo.
Yoda, yeah.
Yeah.
The frightening thing is not dying. The
Yoda.
frightening thing is not living. You know.
That's exactly right. That's more frightening to me is not living. I actually faced what I thought was going to be death multiple times in combat. Like I was like, this is it, and
Yeah.
that didn't happen. I lost the fear of death.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's more frightening to me is just not living. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why would but some people choose to do that. I just want to tell them that they don't have to.
No, you don't.
They can, and I think I picked up some wisdom along the way.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot, but a little bit.
Just a wee little bit.
Just a teeny bit.
Just a teeny bit.
But anyhow.
Let's show Bill one more time. Oh no, Bill.
Oh no!
Oh, Mr. Bill, Mr. Bill. Oh no, oh no, Mr. Bill.
Mr. Bill's knocking the microphone. There he goes. Well, Bill, it's been amazing again, and I'd love to have you back on again if you're up for it.
Sounds good. I'd
Let's
be happy
talk some more
to.
Bill later.
Yeah.
I think the goal was to keep this between 30 and 45 minutes, and we are now at 55 minutes. I'll edit some of
You
this
had
stuff.
one job.
Yeah, well, we had a
Yeah.
lot of stuff with the adjustments.
We did. It's
Bill
no
really
worries.
likes to talk.
No, but the thing is, it doesn't matter. I wasn't gonna cut it off anyway.
My mouth goes a mile a minute.
Yeah. Well, we love listening to you talk.
Well, thank you.
But
Thank you.
let's have you back again. Let's do this some more. Let's talk some more about Bill if you want to, and just
Yeah, cool.
past,
Whatever, just about
present,
life.
and
About
future
everything, man. Life is
intentions.
just such a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
I'll read you some of my poem. I'm writing poetry.
I've read some of it. We can talk about that. We can talk about that and the comedy. We may not share all of it. I have a bleep
Do we
button.
have a rating here?
So I have a bleep button and a voiceover. But I'll just Bill.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but no, let's do this again for real.
Cool.
And
Yeah. You tell me when, and
yeah, we'll do it. We'll
sit
set it
down.
up.
We could, we could do it next. If you want to do it again, Wednesday or wherever we could do different things.
We'll do it.
It's
We'll
just,
set it up.
It's just a lot to. It's just life is just so good, and I just
It is.
want to inspire everybody to get
Yeah.
to live a little more boldly.
Yeah.
Live a little more boldly.
Be like Bill.
Be like
Well,
Bill.
no,
Well, let's come back and
don't
talk
ever be
about
like,
that
but
more.
no, I don't want to be a role model. Man. Just live more boldly. No.
Yeah.
Too many of me would be.
We should follow Bill around for a night. Just watch him.
Yeah. Take notes.
How to set traps.
Have captions, subtitles.
Gotta bait that hook, baby.
My
You gotta
God.
bait that hook.
Okay, I think that's a good stopping
Good,
point.
perfect.
Thanks again, Bill, for coming. Seriously, we really appreciate it. We enjoy these conversations every time, and I'm looking forward to doing it again next time.
Cool.
Got anything else, Lori?
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Hey, thanks everybody. We love you, and catch you next time.
Love you guys. Peace and love.
Life is like a carnival spin.